Hello and welcome to BROC Talk. I'm your host, Pam Shambo. BROC Community Action has been offering hope, opportunity, and a path forward out of crisis or poverty to Rutland and Bennington County residents for over 53 years. On this episode, we will be talking about a wonderful event coming up at the end of October called Wheels for Warmth, the 14th annual. With me to share information about the event and how you can get involved are Tom Donahue, CEO of BROC Community Action, and Todd Deuso, Transportation Manager at Casella Construction. Welcome to the show, fellas.
Oh, glad to be here.
Very
Thank you,
happy
Pam.
to have you. Tom, I've never interviewed my own boss. I'm very pleased about this. So
I thought I worked for you.
Yeah, only this once. But very happy to have you guys on the show. We've got this big event coming up again, the 14th annual in Rutland County. It's our third annual. So Todd, why don't you tell us a little bit about how Casella's involved?
Oh, happy to. Good morning.
Good morning.
So, good morning, everybody out there. Yes, I work with Casella Construction, and this is the 14th annual Wheels for Warmth event. Wheels for Warmth was founded and put together in 2005 up in Montpelier. I'm really excited for this year's event. It's grown and grown, but Casella's involvement, to your question, I'm really proud of this. In 2005, Wheels for Warmth was an idea from Phil Scott. He was working at his company, Du Bois Construction. He was a customer of ours. I was the general manager for the Casella waste business in Montpelier. And he invited myself and a guy, Ken Squire, the famous race car radio guy.
Ken Squire.
The famous Ken Squire, and he said, hey, would you guys come over and have lunch with me? And so I was representing Casella, and then I understood why I was invited. So back in '05, Phil had an idea, I think, founded from racing. I think the Thunder Road racetrack had, I know this, a tire problem. There was mountains of tires up at the racetrack. They'd get done racing and they'd throw them in a big pile, and this was before, I think, recycling was as easy and acceptable.
Right,
and
right.
Phil said there's got to be a way to deal with all these tires, and then somehow he morphed into this idea that why are we throwing out tires that still have tread on them? Why don't we recycle them? Why don't we reuse them? And it was really his brainchild. So Casella's involvement was he needed help, and we were the founding partner through Casella and myself, and Casella was the company that basically took over the recycling aspect, sponsored the event, helped get it off the ground. Phil had, doing a ton of the work, had all the idea, and Ken Squire, to his credit, donated complete radio time and promoted the event.
Wonderful.
And I'll never forget the first year in '05, Wheels for Warmth was one location, and we raised $5,500.
Wow.
And I've never worked so hard in my life and felt so good, and now it's morphed into this huge event.
Yeah, and I know here in Rutland, over the time that we've done it, it's been $12,000 to $15,000 in a day. And in a day, I say, the sale day. The event is much bigger than that, though, Tom. It's not just that sale day. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure, and as you know, over the 14 years, it's raised now over $400,000 for Vermonters in need of fuel assistance. And this is a state that gets very, very cold in the winter. We all know that. And particularly last winter, if you recall, it was just sub-zero temperatures. It was almost scary. And to a lot of us, I'm one of the fortunate ones that gets to go home every night and there's fuel in the tank, and you walk into a warm home. Unfortunately, not all Vermonters have that luxury, and it's an unfortunate thing. It's not just your average families that you might consider in Vermont. There are people affected in different ways, people who may have had a medical event of some sort in their lives, or a spouse lost a job, a good job, or folks have become more elderly and are in that stage of life. And so this helps all of those folks in Vermont in all walks of life, really, that are in that kind of crisis, which is just really unacceptable to think. As Vermonters, it's unacceptable to all of us. And that's what I love about this community. That's what I love about this state. All of us care about those that are in this kind of need on those cold nights. When we're in our warm home, to think that someone's in a cold home is just not acceptable. And,
Right.
and we all step up. So Wheels for Warmth, thanks to Phil Scott and the whole team that he's assembled to put this together over the last 14 years, this adds money to what is available through the state. And I
Right.
do want to mention
Right.
that the state has a fund that is provided for this too, but this is additional and critical funding. And the reason for that is that not everybody qualifies specifically for the federal funds that are channeled through the state. There are criteria, and they assist an incredible amount of Vermonters, so we're very grateful. And we provide that at BROC Community Action. However, there are some people that are just outside those lines a little bit.
Right.
We don't want them going cold because they're outside those lines. In addition, the state program allows you one assist. People run out twice during the winter, oftentimes. We don't want to say, no, sorry, you've been here once. We can't help you again. Your family has
Right.
to go cold tonight. So last year in Rutland alone, we served, in addition to the state funding program that we administer, with Wheels for Warmth, we were specifically able to help 40 local families, 40. So you think of it, that's 40 families that were out of fuel in this community that had nowhere else to turn.
Right.
And thanks for Wheels to Warmth, we were able to provide that assistance, that safety, and that quality of life that we all, as I said, go home to every night. And it's scary to think that 40 people were in that predicament. But it's wonderful to think, thanks to Wheels for Warmth, that we were there to be able to serve them.
Right, so that's perfect timing for me to read from one of the clients that we did help, who actually fell outside those lines, and she didn't know what she was going to do.
Wow.
And we got a very nice thank you letter to our staff that said, I want to take time out of the busy time of year to thank you and BROC Community Action Program for being there to help me and my daughter out in a tough time because of a life-changing event. As you said, it could be anything. I came in as a last resort because my pride stood in the way. Until things got bad enough, I got scared, and Sherry gave me the time and a little pep talk about how sometimes we all need a little help to restart and not to be afraid to accept it when it's there to be offered. You were there in the time that I was denied by the benefits because she fell outside of the guidelines, and she was a struggling working Vermonter, and it was very, very sad for her. So I want to thank you and this program for helping me and my daughter through this tough time. I'll be forever grateful to you, amazing people, for showing compassion to people having potholes in life. And that was a person that we helped with the Wheels for Warmth funding. So as you said, it could be any life-changing situation that could, the next day you could find yourself needing our assistance.
Yeah.
And you may fall out of those guidelines. And that does create kind of a scary place for people to be. They don't know where to go.
That's
so
right.
we're here.
And dangerous.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct.
Now, I want to also tell, because people watching who are in a position to help want to know how to help, and one of the
Correct,
ways,
correct.
and I'll tell you, the sale, which is on October 27th, is when a lot of the funds are raised, and that's part of the win-win-win I'm going to talk about. But let me start with the first win, which is the financial end of it, to be able to provide this fuel assistance, which is so critical in Vermont to folks in this households in need. We need tires, so the one thing, if we're on Saturday at the sale, we need lots of tires dropped off either in advance to BROC
Correct.
Community Action or on the 2 days leading up to the sale at Casella Construction on Route 4 in Mendon,
Right.
Thursday and Friday, which is the 25th and 26th of October, between the hours of 2 and 6.
2 and 6. I'm just looking at the
We'll
poster
have-
because I forgot what the hours
Yeah,
were.
we'd have lots of staff there ready to accept your tires.
Right.
So we want to talk to the viewers that are watching and say, bring us your tires. You might have had a change of automobiles, now the other ones don't fit. Hey, it's a great way to take the opportunity to clean out your garage, clean out your cellar. This is your chance. And help your neighbors, because your tires will go into the sale. And when the sale creates the funds that go into the Wheels for Warmth program.
So Todd, tell me about what it takes for a tire to be used in the sale or recycled.
Okay, folks, what we're going to do now is our famous penny test. We brought in one of our tires that's going to make it for resale. This came in last week. We've got a 225, 55, R17, Cooper mud and snow tire. This tire, brand new, is probably going to sell for in the neighborhood of $100, $110. A set of 4 is going to be new, again, approximately $400 plus. Someone brought this set in last week. What we've got here is we've got to determine if there's enough tread. Can this tire come out and make it another winter? We had some folks come in, they said, we think it's good enough for another year. We want new tires. We don't want to throw this out. If we throw it out, we want to recycle it with you. What's the use? Okay. The famous penny test. Everybody's got a penny. So we take a penny. We put the head of the penny right down into the tire, to the bottom, up to the tread. Hold our little finger, see where it comes up to. And if it meets the eyes of Abraham Lincoln, there's enough tread to make it average season 1 more year. This is a tire that makes it just by a little. You can see that it's certainly not a new tire, but it's a good solid tire. It would get somebody around town for the season. This tire would sell for approximately $10 at the Wheels for Warmth event.
Or if your tires don't meet the standard that the DMV establishes, Todd did a great job with this demo here today, and the DMV, to their credit, do a great job of coming up and assisting us right there on the spot to determine if the tires are good and can be sold, or if they're not good, they're recycled. Again, now thanks to Casella Waste Management, they recycle the tires. You pay $4 for the recycling fee, and then they donate all of those proceeds back to us. So thanks to Casella Waste Management for that. And it's just an incredible community team effort. But all of those funds then are what creates the fuel fund, which is dedicated at BROC Community Action and the other community action agencies in Vermont that are receiving these funds. They're dedicated funds. So they're not used for anything but just assisting with the fuel. But we really want to put out the appeal, if you're watching today, that we need your tires. So please take a moment to go in your garage or your cellar. Give us your set of tires that you don't need anymore. It can be summer, it can be mud and snow, it can be winter. So that's win number 1. Win number 2 is simply that folks that can't afford a good set of tires, so it's not just they can't afford fuel, sometimes their cars are running on tires that aren't good, and their family that they drive around in the car is potentially unsafe. So if you're able to contribute a good set of tires and they're able to buy it at a very affordable price, which is one of the reasons that the tire businesses in Vermont have been very supportive of this sale, because they don't see this as competition. They see this as those folks might not have been able to come in our store and buy these tires. But thanks to this program, they can afford it. And they are able to get then a good set of tires for their car, for their family for the next year, whether it's getting the family around or traveling to a job site. And then the last win, I said, is that we recycle. So thanks to Casella Waste Management, these tires are recycled, which is tremendous for the environment, and the ones that aren't put into the sale. And we had an individual, to tell you a quick story, that actually cleaned out streams up around the Killington area, took out the old tires, loaded them onto a trailer, and brought them down to Casella Construction in Mendon to go into the recycling, and paid the $4 each as a donation, and cleaned up the streams and helped the environment. So there's the win-win-win. And I suppose the fourth win is when I did my first year, I cleaned a lot of space out in the garage.
You did of your own, that's right. That's right, I remember that. And Todd, I do want to talk a little bit about what that sale day looks like. You've been there for them, and the one thing that I'm always impressed with is we start the sale at 7, people are lined up at 5:30 in the morning. It blows me away, but they know that they have to get there to get the kind of tires they need.
Yeah, the sale day's great, and I'll give you a heads up on that in a quick sec, but I wanted to just take a moment and kind of look into the camera, and I think Tom and Pam, you guys are really putting a great effort in, but I love the win-win-win, and here's my takeaway. Everybody that has a car has a tire, and it's really about forming a habit. Whether you're going to get a brand new set of tires this year or next year, we're all going to have tires. They're in our trunk, they're in our garage, they're in our barn. Some people go clean up the river. So the real win that I love in this program is you're going to take the tire somewhere at some point. If you bring the tire to Wheels for Warmth, if you bring it into Wheels for Warmth, there's nothing but a complete return back into the community. Every bit of money, whether it's recycled, reused on somebody's car, that's going to be a complete community benefit. So everybody's turning in tires. And the habits that we're trying to form are, get your new tires, absolutely, go get them where you want to get them, that's great, but don't turn your old tires in, bring them over to Wheels for Warmth, even if they're junk, that recycle fee is going in someone's fuel tank.
Right.
Or someone that maybe can't make it through the winter can. That's the important message that I think to get people understanding is last weekend in October always.
Right.
On
and
the morning
habit, excuse me about that, but the habit would be, even if it's in the summer, save them for Wheels for Warmth.
There you go.
You know, through the year, please do that, because we will be coming up with our donation dates, so you can always hold them aside if you have room. You know, we would appreciate that.
I forget about that, and my favorite item too is I take pride in getting my donation slip. If it's not a lot of money, but I bring in a set of 4 tires, and you know, it is a tax deductible contribution, and it's a good one.
Right.
So, good stuff there.
Yeah. So the day of the sale.
The day of the sale, that's the that's the funnest part.
Yes.
I've got to tell you, the day of the sale last year, so the sale occurs on the last Saturday in October every year.
Right.
So it's always the last Saturday of the year. And that's the day that you can actually come and pick up and purchase tires. There's tires that come in and out through the morning. You can drop them off on Saturday.
Absolutely.
You can purchase them. So it's kind of like going to Florida and being with your mom and going to a flea market, I suppose. That's all my memory is. There's a lot of people are milling around, you kind of are looking for what's right, you have to have patience. In the morning of the sale, come on over. There'll be people there at 5:30 in the morning. Up in Montpelier, I guess they were there at 4:30.
Oh, that's a, yeah, boy.
And you have to admire those folks. I heard it earlier. Who hasn't hit a pothole in life?
Right.
I can tell you, we all have. We just, it's there. So people come over early. We do start our coffee and donuts and, you know, try to keep them warm at 7. My other thing, other than my donation slip, I love seeing the local politicians come in. They're going to cook breakfast and lunch, and they're there working. And God,
absolutely.
It makes me feel good to see them cook me a hamburger.
Yes, yeah, it does.
I just love that.
It does.
And Omnia provides financial support, you know, as a sponsor to put that barbecue on with the delegation.
They do.
Delegation.
Wouldn't be possible without that. So Omnia underwrites the complete food and beverage barbecue. There's no fee for that. You can come over and get what you like, and your local politician, Republican, Democrat, Progressive, Independent, it doesn't matter. They're all invited, and just feels kind of good to have them serve us.
I know.
I have to say, they have a really great time while they're there.
They do, actually. They really
have a
enjoy
blast.
it, yes. And they get to see it firsthand, too. I think that's important, for them to see the need is there, because most of the people that are there are on the lower income spectrum. To purchase the tires, because as you said, it could be that they can't afford to get their car inspected because they need $500 for a brand new set. Well, they come to us, the most they're probably going to pay is $100 for a set of 4.
And a good chance it'll be half that.
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just to also make a mention, new this year at 10:30, we are doing half price sale. So if folks are looking at social media and see our posts about that, it is real. We're going to do a half price sale because we want the tires to go to the people that need them. And if that's the way we have to help you out, that's what we're going to do.
And your morning comment, I'll go back to the original question. The main thing is when you come over to Wheels for Warmth, it's 7 in the morning, you don't find your tire, there's a lot of people. It sometimes could feel a little like you missed it or you missed that tire. The successful people we find are ones that simply go over and get their coffee and donut, maybe grab a hamburger at 10 in the morning, and they just mill around. Because again, people bring tires in all morning.
Correct.
And
so donations
most
come in.
Most people usually seem to find it.
Right. Throughout the morning, we do have people driving up even that day. If they can't make it Thursday or Friday afternoon, they'll come up Saturday morning. You know, and it does make a big difference because you could end up finding that one, you know, that one set that you've been waiting for could be coming in at 10:30 in the morning and not
Right, so it's
not
often
there
worth waiting
already.
around a little
Yeah,
bit, yeah.
yeah.
And besides, you get served the barbecue too while you're waiting, so
Yeah,
how can you
and
go
we
wrong,
have,
right?
and we're going to have live 101 The One will be there playing music. So we're going to have music and coverage, and it's always a really great day. I really have fun on that Saturday.
Yeah, I wanted to mention, Pam, because it's so important. We have so many great sponsors for this program this
Yes.
year, which is statewide. And I had mentioned the $400,000 raised over time. I
Correct.
also should mention that 17,000 safe tires were donated and put back on Vermonters'
That's a
vehicles.
lot of tires.
And another 28,000 unsafe tires recycled. So I mean, the impact of this thing over time,
Yes.
year by year, is incredible. And you know, I applaud all those that have been involved in it
Right.
prior to the last several years that we've had the opportunity to jump on board,
Right.
and we're thrilled to have been asked here in Rutland County. I got to tell you. So in addition to the Casella Casella construction drop-off, which is Thursday and Friday, the 25th and 26th of October, and then Saturday morning,
Right.
the 27th of October, you can bring your tires now, as you know, to BROC Community Action. So if you're watching this show now, you can bring your tires
Correct.
immediately.
We have
And-
our container ready.
Yep,
The
we
banner's
do.
on it. We're ready to go.
So you won't be able to miss us, right there in the parking lot at 45 Union Street.
Correct.
In addition, there is a number of sponsors that make this all financially viable
Right.
for because it's a large effort. No funding goes to individuals though that are involved in it. It's all volunteer and community service
Yes.
by everybody, Todd included here.
Right.
So all the money goes into the Wheels Fund, but it's Radio Vermont, WDEV, that's Ken's
Yes.
former station, our good friend Ken Squire.
Yes.
Casella Waste and Casella Construction, both. Acura Printing, Jet Service, Vermont State Employees Credit Union, Venor Tire, AT&T, People's United Bank, Bourne's Energy, AGC, which is Associated General Contractors, Du Bois Construction, WOKO, Lenny's, Velco, Union Mutual, Community National Bank, and again, you know, want to mention the live remote we're going to have from also 94.5,
Right.
Rock 94.5,
That's
Catamount
right.
Radio locally too. And then, of course, that additional support in Rutland from Omea with the barbecue. So,
Correct.
you know, gracious, generous businesses supporting this in a way that helps in cold weather, Vermonters, households, families in need with fuel assistance.
Yes. And I'd like to read one more note that we've received.
Excellent.
I brought two. This is from an elder in West Rutland who was assisted with fuel out of the fund. The first one I read was fuel and electric. She needed a little bit extra help, but it all came out of Wheels. This one says, Dear Sherry, and Sherry's one of our caseworkers at BROC Community Action, just a note to say thank you for all the time and effort you gave me in my recent need of a furnace. This started out with a furnace replacement. Bill Lotion installed a furnace and water tank without a penny being paid by me. 3 cheers for BROC and Lotion for their kindness to me. And that says it all right there. We started right from helping her get a furnace replacement through other funding, and then we filled the tank through Wheels for Warmth because she didn't qualify for whatever reason. You know, with the income guidelines, our staff go through the asset tests and all those things that are required, and we were able to help her with Wheels funds. And that gives our staff a good feeling when they get these notes back, and these folks are, you know, they don't have to write these. They just felt the need to thank us for what we do.
And one of the things I learned on the job, of course, as I go, is that if you think about it, take that the next step. We also have some funding that we use for electric through the state program and so forth. The reason for that is simple, which just never would have occurred to me, but if you think about it, you can fill the tank full of fuel, but if the furnace is driven by your electric and your electric shut off, you can't, the furnace doesn't start, does it? So the home is no warmer with the fuel in the tank if you don't have electric. So we make sure that that connection is made literally, and that their home is warm.
Right. That's always a great connection that we can make. And anybody watching, you know, if you feel that you don't qualify under any other program, the state programs, please don't be embarrassed to come by BROC Community Action. Give us a call or stop in, and we'll see what we can do for you. It's worth the trip down just to sit with one of our staff to find out what you're eligible for. And it could be through one of these programs that we receive money that we can use it as, we call it discretionary money. There's no guidelines, no limitations on it. That's the reason Wheels for Warmth is one of the very important programs for our organization. And you know, Todd, we couldn't do it without Casella Construction opening up their yard there to us and making Saturday the big event that it is every year.
That's right.
It's kind of like a drive-through in my mind, the way we set it up now.
It is, really.
You know, you drive in, you can drop your tires off, you go around the circle.
Probably grab a burger on the way
and then you end up grabbing a burger on the way out.
Well, and thanks for noticing that. The drive-through is going to be really good on Friday night.
Yeah.
So again, Thursday night, Friday night drop-off, 2
Correct.
to 6. I'll get my date right. Friday night, the 26th, we even got Uncle Danny's Deli down the street from us, right on the hill up there on Route 4, to bring over two 6-foot subs. So
Oh, nice.
I've got to maintain my
Nice.
figure, so
Yes.
I'm kind of excited about that. But I would like to say, Pam, that
I love it.
I really do appreciate the acknowledgement. Casella Construction now had a transition, and we have a second generation that owns Casella Construction now.
Right.
We have a couple 30-ish year olds, John and Joe, and they're just great guys. And one thing I'm super proud of is the second generation is got a lot of integrity, and they're super generous, and they're really good people, just like their parents.
They took up the charge to help community
They really
in general.
did, and
really.
you know, I'm here on donating time, but you know, someone's still paying me today, and those guys get it.
Right.
So they're putting their best foot forward.
Right. And you know, we're excited to see John running around up there hauling tires again, and he always is a good egg when it comes to that. He jumps right in with his hands, and you know, he'll help people put them in their cars, and we all do. I mean, if we're able to. But that's one of the big beauties of it. Don't come up thinking that you've got to load those tires. We certainly have. We're going to have volunteers, and that's another thing I want to put out there. We need volunteers. So Saturday the 27th of October, if you're interested, from 7 to noon, we could use your help in you know, unloading tires from donations, loading tires from people that buy them. Come up and just help be a part of this event. It's really fun. I know we have some college students that will be helping us, so that's always a good thing that we have some young backs up there.
And I got to imagine there's a few of our legislative delegation that put on the bright day glow vests and get out there and load cars too.
So that's always a fun picture to have the visual of all walks helping do this.
Right.
And I just love that visual when I'm there, you know, being
Agreed.
able to look around and see all the people that are helping just make it better for Vermonters. And it's just one of the events that I hope we continue on for a very long time with our partnership. And you know, we're able to help, as Tom said, last year, 40 families. And when you think of the cost of fuel, that may not sound like a lot of families, but when you equate it out, yeah, it is a lot. But I mean, it's...
Think of them all being in the cold.
Right, right. When
That's
we
an
think of
awful
it
thing.
that way, go to, I just need to look at it, wheelsforwarmth.org, and you can also get a lot of information there. If you're interested in volunteering, please contact me at BROC Community Action, and we'll set you up with a task. I mean, most of the time we get there, Tom, and you know, people just jump in. They don't even have to be told what to do. They can just see it happening, and they say, oh, I can help that person with these tires.
Sure.
So it's really a fun day. So I'm looking forward to it. I know you guys are.
For those that may not know, the drop-off spot, again, Thursday, Friday, 25th and 6th. Also drop off the 27th.
So we hope to see you there for Wheels for Warmth. Thank you guys for joining me.
Our pleasure.
And that's another edition of BROC Talk.